Let's go to our final running back set before we go to our wide receivers. And that's Nick Chubb. And pull up my sheet. I'm looking at the timestamp. I'm trying to record the timestamp.
No, you're good. It's Nick Chubb, Ford, and Foreman. Chubb has been the one that made significant movement. He's at 117 right now. He's moved down 13.6 spots. Ford has stayed pretty much in between one pick up, one pick down, nothing notable. And Foreman has dropped down 2.8 spots. So I guess maybe I don't know what to make of the news as to why there's movement. It could just more or less be people, that Nick Chubb came out and said that he doesn't have a timeline for when he's going to be back. And maybe that spooked some people. I'm not worried about Nick Chubb. Jesse Morris came out and said that he felt like week one is very possible for Chubb given when he got the surgery. So, but I think there's some people that are hesitant out there, which is partially why he's moving down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, the value for Nick Chubb right now is what's alluring. It's just a matter of, we do run that risk of injury when he's going to come back. Can he recover it from it? Because this isn't the first time he's suffered almost this exact injury. And Nick Chubb is also 28 years old. I don't think he's by that running back clip, the proverbial running back clip. This is another situation, polar opposite when I had the Rashad White stats up. I'll pull up and I'll show you what a real running back looks like in Nick Chubb. And his efficiency metrics as a rusher jumps off the page. 100th percentile. The best running back in the league at broken tackle rate. 3.7 average yards after contact. 97th percentile. Doesn't drop the pass. 100% catch rate. Doesn't get a lot of pass catching opportunities. But when he does, he catches them. So this guy jumps off the page in a lot of these efficiency metrics. Still at his age. Only played in 2 games last year. I don't know. Like you're getting Nick Chubb, 10th round, right around?
Yeah.
I'm fine there.
And where are you getting these stats from, Anthony? What website is this?
RotoWire.
It's RotoWire. Okay.
Other guys in his backfield, they have Ford. And the big one, I wanted Dallas to get Donta Foreman. He is one of the more underrated backs in the league. And we know he came off of that Achilles injury. And he's one of the few who's actually rejuvenated his career. Donta Foreman, I think, is the biggest challenger in this backfield. And I get like last year, Jerome Ford had a nice little run.
Yeah.
If you're not, let's say, or if you're drafting Nick Chubb, you're in a deeper league or even a best ball league, and you want to protect that investment, I am getting Donta Foreman over Jerome Ford. I think he's a superior running back. And if you remember, Donta Foreman has never really been in a great situation, but he popped in Carolina. He's popped everywhere he's been when his numbers called. So in a small sample size, like let's say, Chubb misses the first 4 games of the year. Those first 4 games, you could potentially get some monster production out of Donta Foreman.
Yeah, I love that. You're talking about Ford in the 10th round along with Chubb, and then you can get Foreman in the 19th. And Foreman could easily just supplant Jerome Ford. So, I like that. We've kind of always been on Foreman on this show, whether he's been at Carolina, whether he's been with the Titans, even last year with the Bears. So, I like that strategy. You take Chubb. We talked about Chubb, last week or the week before in our player comparison. You can kind of hedge your bets a little bit. Take Foreman in the second to last round there. Wait for Chubb to get fully going. Hopefully the Browns don't rush him back too quick. I saw he was out on the field yesterday. He was working out with the guy. He was out there with his jersey on, so that's always a good sign. But still questions if he's going to be fully ready for week 1. But I think the value 9 rounds later. I think why go after Jerome Ford when you can get Foreman, who was proven that he can be very, very capable running back, and I don't see much of a difference in talent.
Foreman, before you go Pete, Foreman, nothing last year with Chicago, but in 21 and 22 with Tennessee and Carolina, he had a total of 8 games with over 100 rushing yards, 5 of those with the Carolina Panthers post-CMC. That was a bad football team. He was running the hell out of the football that year.
Yeah, Brown's also getting back Jack Conklin, right? I mean, he missed most of last year, so he's going to be back healthy this year. A huge piece for their offensive line, and still one of the better blocking offensive lines in the league.
Yeah, so I'm actually in a different spot than you guys are here. I prefer Jerome Ford. Just pulling up some statistics, and some of these are from Colin McTampty from Fantrax. Jerome Ford last year had 23 runs of 10+ yards, and he also had 63 targets. I think the difference between Foreman and Ford is that when Nick Chubb comes back, Ford is still going to have a role in this offense. Foreman and Chubb have a very similar skill set, but Jerome Ford had 44 catches, which would be the highest of the career for Nick Chubb. And those targets aren't going to go away. Foreman doesn't provide that kind of, I mean, he can catch the football on short passes and block out of the backfield, but he's not Jerome Ford. When Nick Chubb comes back, I think Jerome Ford is still going to have an opportunity in this offense. And he looked pretty damn good when he was on the field last year. So I actually really think you're getting Jerome Ford at a value. I mean, if on the off chance, which it's not that crazy, if Nick Chubb's rehab doesn't go as smooth as we expect and he has a setback and he's not ready for the first few weeks of the year, Jerome Ford has a very good chance of being the number one back in this backfield. He's been in this offense already. We've seen him do it. They like him. So I feel like Foreman was a pickup for them as insurance just in case, Chubb has a setback and they have a similar guy in that backfield. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Foreman gets cut if Chubb is ahead of schedule too. So they have Pierre Strong. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but I think Jerome Ford has a much more defined role in this offense, no matter what happens with Foreman or Chubb. So I'll take Ford, pretty much getting him at the 10th, between 10th and 12th round in most drafts this year. So.
Yeah, I don't know if he was that. He caught a bunch of balls, but he only had 4 yards per carry. He was terrible in that playoff game. I mean, that whole game was a shit show. Flacco freaking.
Yeah, he had 9 touchdowns last year, though. I mean,
yeah, but he was the only guy. Like, there was nobody else.
I mean, Kareem Hunt was vulturing a little bit.
Hunt was there. That's true.
4 yards a carry is not bad either. I mean, when you're going at 3.5, 4 yards a carry is respectable for sure. No. I mean, you're a pretty decent running back.
He just had a couple games where he was just, I mean, every running back kind of does that.
Well, but keep in mind,
3 carries for 6 yards, 9 for 17, 15 for 25.
But think about it. How many games were they rolling out these shitty quarterbacks before Flacco even stepped on the field too? I mean, Watson looked like
Conklin was out. Conklin was out too.
Yeah,
I just think Foreman's a threat. I really think. I agree. Especially 9 rounds later. If it was like 2 rounds or something like that, a little bit closer, but I think 9 rounds is too much for Foreman.
Yeah, I think it's a good dart throw for sure if you miss out on Ford. But I definitely I'm definitely targeting Ford at that price range.
And to piggyback off this, let's say you're right and Foreman is cut. He's going to get another job. And the reason why Foreman would get a job over any other free agent running back is because he's going to be going through training camp and preseason. And a lot of these other running backs, they're going to be coming off the street. Foreman, if he did get cut, that's a positive. He would get the call before Kareem Hunt. He would get the call before Cam Akers. So you're investing in draft pick. Maybe he gets cut, but he's going to be the first guy that gets a phone call to get a new job.